Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another quick video. And this is going to be a special request video for a new friend that I found on YouTube, and her name is Demetra. Demetra Lit All Day. This is going to be smothered pork chop. I've already washed and cleaned my meat. I seasoned my meat. I'm going in, just tapping off the flour, and we're going to fry them first. I have my heat at medium, between 4 and 5, I guess. And we're just gonna put these in. Now these are some center cut pork chops. They're not as thick as some would be. So being that they're gonna smother down in the gravy, I'm going to just cook these maybe about 6 to 7 minutes on each side until they're nice and golden, but we don't have to cook them as long. So yeah, when she first visited my channel, I had different breads video up, I had the cookie video up, and the only reason why I started out with those short videos was because I didn't have the proper equipment that I could film like I'm doing over the stove now. So I was using what I had at the time that I can pretty much like do something simple and quick. So now I can come to the stove and really show you guys. So when you see earlier when I did the collard greens, so all this is going to be put together. So we've done the collard greens. Now this is going to be our smoked pork chop. And I'm starting out just frying our pork chop. So I will be back. So I took them off, put them over to the side. I drained off the majority of my grease, and I'm gonna put the exact measurements down below. So we're going in with our flour, and this is just regular flour, and I'm just putting it in. I'm eyeballing it, but I will have the exact measurements. Now the way I do it, kind of have your keep your heat between medium and low until you kind of get pretty much used to it. Now as you can see, this is what I normally would do. I get it all worked in until I can see if I need to add more flour. I like to have a little bit more oil, but just in case, all it's gonna do is give you more gravy. So I would rather have more oil than too much flour. So right here, I can see it's loose in this area. It's very loose. So I'm just gonna add some more flour. That's how I pretty much eyeball and judge when I need to add more flour. And all you're doing is just stirring it. And it's supposed to look white like this, so you're not doing anything wrong. All it's doing is cooking. The flour is cooking because you want the chalkiness in the flour to get cooked out before it starts to turn brown. I'm gonna add a little bit more. All right, now what I normally would tell my daughter when she first started making gravy, you have three colors to me. Your light gravy, your white gravy, first of all, if it's gonna do like sausage or whatever, breakfast gravy. Then you have like your light gravy. You have like between like your light and your medium brown gravy. I call that my chicken gravy and pork chop gravy. When I go into a deeper color, like for any kind of beef, roast, or steak or something like that, then I want it to be darker. Now, the longer it cooks determines how the shade that you want your gravy to be. So if I let this cook long, and I notice that it starts to get dark, then that means I'm going for like a deeper beef look, beef color of gravy. But when it starts to get like a caramel brown pretty color, then that's when I know, okay, it's time to put my water in. No, I don't use milk, water. And trust me, it's gonna give you the thick, you're gonna still have that thick consistency and everything. So just keep stirring it. You see how it's cooking? Yeah, you want it to be able to move some, so you don't want to pack too much flour in it where it's not moving, because that means you're gonna need to add in some more oil then. But now, if you're cooking a whole lot of gravy, like a big long silver pan full or something like that, you know, you may want to kind of add a little bit more. But for this size skillet here, this is a 13-inch. Even for a 10-inch, I still would do the same amount thing. It's just gonna be less water. So we're gonna just let this brown a little bit. And while this is browning, no, I'm not gonna put my onion in yet. Where is it? Okay. This is what I do. I just cut like the end piece, like a big chunk, and I just lay it down. You hear that sizzle? And what this does, this starts to flavor your roux. Woo! Sorry. Woo! That was hot. But this starts to flavor. You hear it? And then you start to smell it. No, don't put all your other onions yet. Just this little piece is good enough. And all it's doing while you're waiting on this to brown to your liking, it's being flavorized with the onion. Just cut just the end piece off. Probably the piece that you would normally throw away. Cut that piece off, honey, and throw it in and let it do what it do. And it's just adding flavor in until you get everything else in with it. Yep, so this is all. And you can just keep stirring it. You know, you don't want it to stick. You can use a whisk. Sometimes I use this wooden spoon with a flat little tip where I can just kind of move it like that, you know. But if this is your first time trying it, you know, just take your time. Don't get disgusted. You can make your own gravy. Y'all, this onion already is smelling so good. Yeah, you're just moving around because you don't want it to stick. When it starts to brown, when it starts to turn the color you want it all to turn together. You don't want it to just sit in one place and turn brown, then all around it still is another color. So you want everything to stay in harmony. Do everything together. So yeah, this is all you gotta do to get that gravy started. Now, that's another video in itself, but the way we make our old-fashioned tomato gravy, right here will be good enough. We will throw that water in, throw those tomatoes in, put that tomato paste in, and put everything, the salt, black pepper in, and honey, and let it cook and just go together, and that gravy is ready for some rice for sure. Yeah, you don't have to wait on it to turn for the tomato gravy, but you do want to make sure the flour has cooked out. I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit so we can kind of rush this color. But yeah, the longer you let it cook, the more the flour is browning. That's what you're doing. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're waiting on. And that's how you get your different color. But meanwhile, while that's doing that, let me show you this. Chicken stock. Keep you some chicken stock in your fridge. This will be your best friend. Now, my son asked me the other day, what's the difference in chicken stock and chicken broth? Chicken broth is in a can. Well, it comes in the box too. But the chicken broth is much thinner. Your stock is thicker. The stock is filled more with flavors. Now, if you're going to use chicken broth, keep you a box of this. This is just some bouillon. You can find them probably on the dollar aisle. But any kind of chicken bouillon, you're going to have to add some bouillon with that broth if you're using broth. Because like I say, broth is so thin. You're going to have to add something to it to help give it the flavor. But why use broth when you just get stock? It's already full of flavor. Already full of flavor. So yeah, keep you these two. Keep you some beef bouillon and keep you some chicken stock in your refrigerator and in your pantry. All right, it's turning. See how you can see how this onion was cooking already? I'm gonna just flip it back over. It adds the extra flavor. So along with the flour cooking, the onion cooking into it, that's how you get that old-fashioned good gravy taste And then when you start doing this at home, y'all, you're going to start noticing the difference in the box gravy, the canned gravy. You're going to be like, something ain't right about this gravy. And you're going to figure out, okay, I need to go home and make my own gravy. That's what you're going to start saying. So, yeah, it's turning now. Just a little bit more for me since I'm doing pork chops. Now, if I was doing chicken, I would stop it right here. This will be good enough for me if I was doing chicken. But I just want my pork chop. I want it to go just a tad darker. And I just like playing it like this. I just get so excited like seeing it change on its own. So yeah, this is how we make our homemade gravy. And this onion is not playing, honey. It don't need no help. It is not playing. Yeah, as long as it's still loose, you're doing good. I'm burning myself up, y'all. Yeah, as long as it's still loose like that, you're still doing good. You're good. Don't panic. You don't need no more flour or nothing. Everything is going just like it should. And then you're gonna start to smell it. The smell gonna start smelling like it has deepened to like another level of an aroma. So right here is where you want to add your water. Now, I've already got my water hot. If you want, you can just have your water running so it can be hot when you get ready to get it. But my water is already hot. And you don't want to you have to be careful when you're pouring your water in because it's gonna steam up. I'm not going to use all of this, but I guess I'm just eyeballing. I pretty much know about how much flour I had in. And when you pour your water in the first time, and if it seems like it starts bucking up, and if it's thick, then add some more water to it. So let it just come up a little bit to see if I need to add any more water before we do anything else to it. See how it's bubbling and it's getting thick there? That's what you want. Then you can go in and start stirring. See how I can feel flour. It's thick. So that tells me I need to add some more water. So you're not going to put no seasoning until you get this to the consistency that you want it. Don't start putting nothing in it yet. You want to get this consistency. You want it to be stirrable. You want it to be pourable, but you want it to have a good thickness to it. Because one thing about it, when you're using a lot of flour, and it's got to cook down some more. Then when you add your meat in, you know your meat was fried in flour, so all that's got to cook together. So it's going to always thicken it even more. I'm going to go in with just a little bit more. Because we're going to need a lot of gravy. All right, remember that was water. All right, now, chicken stock. I'm gonna add some chicken stock in here. That's gonna add flavor. And when you're using chicken stock, you got to make sure you have your tasting spoon to taste as you go to, because you're not gonna need as much salt because of the chicken stock. It has plenty of salt in it. Okay. So now, first, oh, I'm sorry. I get everything right here. Well, let me taste it first. I'm telling y'all, if you have my tasting spoon out, I'm going to have it over here with me. You're going to notice anytime you're working with flour and tomatoes, you're going to have to taste, because the starch that's in the flour is like no salt. So you definitely got to taste to make sure, because salt is your main season. Salt is what brings the flavor up. When people say season your food, they're really not meaning all of the different dried seasons. They're just meaning salt, because salt is what brings the flavor up in all of our foods. You put your salt in first, then you go in with everything else. little bit more. We'll be ready to move on to the next. Okay. The salt is good. Now, black pepper. You can use black pepper to your preference. A lot of people don't like a lot of black pepper, but my mama is like, we have to see the black pepper, honey. She'll go to a restaurant and she'll pull that black pepper can out of her pocket so fast and put it on that chicken because she got to see the black pepper on it. First thing she said, these folks ain't putting no seasoning on this food. She'll come up with that black pepper can. A little bit more. All right, definitely your onion powder. You gotta have onion powder. Even though you're using fresh onion, even though we season it with the onion head there, but you gotta have your onion powder. It makes a world of difference in your gravy. No matter what kind of gravy you're making, the onion powder makes a world of difference. Get all that worked in. Okay, now this is just your choice. But I find that it's good. Truffle dust. It's good on steaks and everything, but I just like to use a little of it. You don't have to. It's just optional, but it's just kind of add. If you like to cook with mushrooms and stuff like that, keep you some truffle dust in your pantry also. Just gonna add a little bit in here. Like I say, and if you don't want to use the truffle dust, if you don't want to bother about trying to buy it or whatever, you can sprinkle a little beef bouillon in there if you like. But the main ingredients, you've already saw what I used. And y'all, this is all that we ever used and did for gravy. And when this cooked down and when it smothers down, so everything is there. I'm gonna go just a tad more salt. All right, now we're going in with our meat. It's not gonna take these long because they're, like I said, they were thinly cut. Just kind of get them pushed down into that gravy. And when you're just checking them throughout periodically, making sure it's not sticking in the center or whatever. And if it seems like it's a little bit too thick, you always can, add just a little water like on the edges. And for as the onions, it's as much as you like. If you're gonna say smother, then I say load the onions up on there, honey. Load them up. Now, if I had a little accent, I would put a little accent in here, but I don't have any. I'm out of it. That's the only thing I'm missing. Accent seasoning. The salt brings up the flavor, and the accent just kind of rounds it all out. Okay, we're gonna let this simmer down. But you can see that it already has the consistency of thickness. And it's going to get thicker. We're just going to keep watching it. If it needs a little bit more water or a little bit more stock, we'll add that in there. But no, you don't need no milk. Don't put no milk in this, y'all. Don't mess this up with no milk. Baby, don't do no milk. All right, and we're going to turn this down. We're going to cover this. And we will be back. And here is our final finish result for our smothered pork chop. Our thin center cut pork chop, just so you can see they're nice and tender. You can see the consistency of the gravy, and just pile as much as you like on there. Oh my goodness. And guess what? We're getting ready to plate this up, and we're gonna do a little mini mukbang so we can eat them. We're gonna taste it together. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, love somebody, help somebody, and rejoice all while you're doing it. I hope my girl Demetria loves seeing this because these are the country old style fashion smothered pork chop full of onion. Bye, y'all.